clients where, you had to pull out the keto card, or like, how do you feel about these extreme versions of dieting? Do they have a place? Have you seen it have a place for specific clients? Oh, I'm gonna leave it there. I want you to answer this one instead of me elaborate.
uh, all right. So to me, if your diet has a name, it's probably not the best diet. I, like keto and paleo and uh,
Carnivore.
carnivore and yeah, like if your diet has a name, it's probably too restrictive. And I just don't feel like that's sustainable. That's not to say there isn't a time and a place for certain things, but my approach is and always will be, whenever possible, a more flexible approach to dieting. And I think the problem is that people misrepresent what flexible dieting or if it fits your macros is. It's not. If it fits your macros is not a diet, right? It's an approach to nutrition. It's a nutritional concept that allows you to take your body's energy and nutritional needs and fit them into an eating regimen that's tailored to your food choices, preferences, goals, and lifestyle. Like I was talking about earlier, I'm not a fan of rigid dieting like keto, because you're cutting out a massive food group and you're telling yourself you can't eat it. And that leads or could lead to disordered eating, because now you're viewing foods as good or bad and things are black and white. And you start to, I just think that you develop a very unhealthy relationship with food when you start to do things like that. And again, I'm not saying that keto doesn't work for some people, but I would rather find other ways to allow people to fit different foods in. And flexible dieting, or if it fits your macros, is not seeing how much junk and processed food you can fit into your macros. The pictures on Instagram that we see of like Pop-Tarts and pizza and ice cream and people like, showing their abs while eating some of these things. It's kind of like they do it because it looks cool. Nobody wants to show the pictures of the asparagus and the chicken breast, which is what most of these people are eating. But we got to remember that social media is entertainment driven. People want to see that fun stuff. So my approach with the 99% of my clients is, let's get at least 80% of your daily calories from relatively unprocessed, micronutrient rich whole foods, and single ingredient foods, fruits and vegetables. We'll aim for a fiber target, have a protein goal, and then the rest of it can be used like your discretionary calories on whatever you want, on occasional indulgences. But I just think that dieting must fit into your lifestyle. Otherwise, like, you're never going to be compliant. So that's kind of my approach. I like the 80-20 approach. For some people, maybe 90-10 works better, where you focus a lot more on the whole foods. And for someone else who has a higher calorie allotment, you could be a little bit more flexible. And like a perfect example is, let's say I say 80% of your calories should come from whole food and 20% from like some processed stuff, indulgences. Well, for someone who's on 2,000 calories and someone who's on 3,500, there's a very big difference there. You know what I mean? So you might have to tighten that window of how much processed food you allow yourself if you're on very low calories, because you might not end up hitting your fiber goals. You might fall short on protein. So I think there should be some constraints, but whatever dieting approach you choose to use, it's got to respect your taste, your lifestyle. Yeah, it's otherwise it's like, what's the point? So I haven't had to do any of that extreme stuff with people. I do often, if I see someone who seems to be stalling, or we're not seeing things move in the right direction, despite the fact that I feel like things should be moving, then we just do a dive into their food log. I'll take a look at their MyFitnessPal and we'll review everything together, and we'll see, like, a lot of times they're underreporting. A lot of times it's accidental. A lot of times they're not weighing things properly. They're using MyFitnessPal, but people forget that MyFitnessPal is a user submitted database, meaning that anyone can put anything they want in there, whether it's accurate or not. So I encourage people to double and triple check when you enter something. And I've run into this issue before where I went to Trader Joe's and I forgot what I bought. It was a package of something, and I scanned it using the barcode, and it showed up as a Heineken, and it was food. And I was like, that absolutely doesn't make sense. But it goes to show you, like, just scanning barcodes and hitting enter, or just trusting what you see on MyFitnessPal, is not always going to be right. I've had some clients who, they enjoy Quest bars, and they would add a Quest bar in, and it would show as, it might show as like 200 calories, but like 0 carbs and 5 fat, like completely off. But they just saw the calories and they were like, oh, it must be accurate. So you always have to double and triple check these things.
So talk to me about this, because you hired a coach. You mentioned Jeff Nippert. How was that experience? And did you find that it was helpful for your own coaching business, like in terms of like being the client, right?
Yeah, so I got asked that question a lot during that time. Like, if you're a coach, why would you hire a coach? And I think people